Welcome, ladies. My name is Candy Foster. I am your Friends Women Reading Course Secretary for Mid-America Yearly Meeting, and I'm here today to give you book reviews. We have lots of good books for you today in 4 different categories, and you will just love them. So let's start out with the missions category. The first book is called The Fig Tree Revolution: Unleashing Local Churches into the Mission of Social Justice. It is by Bill Mefford. This book is quality. Have you ever seen an injustice and been like, I want to do something but I'm just not sure what to do? Then this book is for you. If you've been like, I really want to do something and help these people, you really need to get to know the people, understand them, have them help, and go along with them, partner along with them, love on them, and help do some political activism or whatever is necessary to help solve the problem of the injustice. This book will spur you to do something. It will enlighten you as far as past injustices and how they have been handled. And as our Quaker roots are for social injustices, this is really just going to be a good review for you and spur you on to be just the best people you can be. So there you go, book number 1. This book is called We Died Before We Came Here, A True Story of Sacrifice and Hope, and it's written by Foreman. This is about a missionary family who put it all on the line. They were bivocational missionaries to a North African country where Christianity was illegal. This country was very Muslim, and you couldn't be a missionary in the country unless you were bivocational. So the husband, Stephen, he went and he worked for a non-governmental organization, and they worked in prisons and did prison ministry and education and classes, and then they went on to train people and just give them relief and do microloans and just try and do development and make their lives better. While they were there, they were subtly just living out their Christian lives, and it would just leak out into on different people that they knew, and subtly people were coming to Christ. And so most of the people in their area, even though Christianity was illegal, they were very friendly towards the Christians because Stephen's job was doing such a great impact on the community and for the people. However, one morning, down the street from a local mosque was where their training center was, and Stephen was gunned down and murdered by an Al-Qaeda extremist. So this is a story of survival, and it's a story about wonderful ministry, but it's also a story of sadness. But yet, from the ashes of the hard times, Stephen's life and how he impacted the people, it really comes through. This is an excellent story. I would totally recommend that you read it. For our Christian life and biography section, we have 2 books for you. The first is called The 7 Money Types: Discover How God Wired You to Handle Money. This book is by Tommy Brown, and it is a fantastic, fun read. And you may be like, what? Financial book, fun read? This is really an easy read. It's fun. It talks about 7 different aspects of God's character and how we as people demonstrate that by how we handle money. So there's different ones. We have, and they name them after some patriarchs of the Bible. We have Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, Aaron, and David. And he talks about different aspects of God's character and the basic beliefs of each money type, how they handle money, the key characteristics for those, like how it comes out in the people's lives. He talks about the shadow side, things to be aware of, where you could go a little bit further than maybe desired, as well as how to grow in your money type. So it's a very positive book. It gives you lots of biblical examples as well as modern day examples of different ways people handle finances and use it for God's glory. And it's a very positive, fun, practical read. Get to know yourself, get to know your neighbors or your spouses or family, and just a good growth book. Read. Our next book is called Whatever the Cost. It's Facing Your Fears, Dying to Your Dreams, and Living Powerfully. This is written by 2 brothers, David and Jason Benham. This is basically a biography of their life, so it covers from when they were little kids and dreaming about being pro baseball players to being pro baseball players, and then life after pro baseball, and then how they are community faith leaders, and how they were almost reality show stars. This book really wants you to examine your heart, and it challenges you in your faith so that you may live boldly, just as boldly as Jason and Benham. You are going to love the twin brother banter. It's hilarious. You will be laughing one moment with them, and at the next moment you'll be like, oh, that is a God truth from the Bible. That's very powerful. So, very good book. You should read it. You should read all these books. Our next section is on classics and Quaker books. So this book I have chosen for a classic is called Hinds' Feet on High Places, and it is written by Hannah Hurnard. Now this is an allegory of the Christian life. This follows Much Afraid, which is a deer, and she follows the shepherd on a path, on an adventure and a journey where she's trusting the shepherd for every moment that she has. She grows stronger in Christ through this journey, and she fights against evil. She experiences pain and suffering, and has to continue to make the choice to follow Jesus in everything, to trust him, to surrender to his will, and to accept his love fully. So this allegory is very applicable today. You will be reading it and you'll be thinking about aspects in your life where this totally applies to your life, and how are you growing in your journey, and how similar are you to Much Afraid, and what can you learn from her. So very good book, read it. This is our Quaker book for this year. It's very giant, but it is worth it. It's called It's About Restoration, Stories of Heartbreak and Tragedy, Restored by Acts of Love. It's by Dean Johnson. This book is basically the history of the Friends Disaster Service here in the U.S. It started in the eastern region, and Dean and his wife, Frida, they basically were the people who ran with it and started it. And so it talks about all of the different things that they had to encounter as far as starting it up and how that happened, the basic history. It also talks about the different missions that they went on and the different crises and events that they were called to, and really just loved on people through their tragedy and helped them towards their path of healing and giving them hope back in their life. So this is a great book. I will warn you, however, that if you read this book, you will want to do something, and so it's very challenging and very motivating. So read with caution, but great caution. On to our Christian fiction, we have The Mark of the King. It's by Jocelyn Green. You're going to love this book. It is a historical Christian fiction book. It starts out in France in the late 1600s, I believe, and it's about a midwife, and she has basically surpassed her mentor, and her mentor is not very pleased about that, so she basically botches a birth. The mother ends up dying, and she gets blamed on the murder for that. She's in prison. She gets marked for being having a life sentence in the prison, and the only way she can get out of the prison is to sign up to go on a ship to the new colonies, which is New France, which is in Louisiana. So she goes to New Orleans, and she is looking for her brother. However, before she can get on that ship, she is forced to marry a fellow convict. I know, gasp. But two strangers, they come together, and they're facing the new world, all the adventures, all the dangers, all the troubles and stuff. So she tries to make a new beginning in New Orleans. It's very difficult, and it's troubling. She's trying to find information about her brother, who's a soldier over there, and she's looking for friendship with the other women and encountering troubles because even though they're all former convicts as well, they weren't marked. Therefore, there's a lot of judging going on. She becomes the midwife and the nurse for the colony area, and she's not sure who she can trust. This book is about grace, it's about second chances, it's about forgiveness, and trust. Very important lessons to be learned and uplifted from. So read it, it's really good. Okay, our last book today is also Christian fiction. This is contemporary Christian fiction. It's called Though I Stumble. It's by Kim Cash Tate, and it's about 4 women. They're all coming from different places in their lives, and they all go to a women's retreat. At this women's retreat, they all meet, and they they form friendships or relationships and a support system. This is a really good book because it talks about real life situations, like the women are dealing with healing from tragedy, or dealing with widowhood, or losing faith in God, also marital troubles. And so you have lots of different things going on, and 4 different women and their aspects of how they handle life situations, as well as this women's conference, and it's talking about passionately pursuing Christ. And so deep lessons to be learned. How do you passionately pursue Christ all the time when you're facing with difficulties and trials, and when things don't go as the way you would dream them to go. So it's a very good book. It makes you feel like you've been to a conference, which is wonderful, and just find a good spot in your house and give it a good read. It's wonderful. You really like it. That's all the book reviews I have for you today. Remember that you can win to read. We have the Friends Women Reading Course prize drawing. So every January 1st through February 15th, you can report on the books that you read over the last year that was in the reading course. Therefore, you can be entered into prize drawings. So don't forget to do that. You could win a gift certificate. Thanks, ladies. Have a great day.